Hello and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and we are thrilled to be back. The whole crew is here. You got Danny with the best hair in the business. You got Umbra with the best voice in the business. You got C Money with one of the best podcasts because he chills with his wife and kids, which is dope. And of course, one of the hardest working dudes, the best afro in the business, my brother, Ham Solo. What's going on, brother? All the way from TSWS Gaming. You are here as a guest, but I have, folks, an ulterior motive. And that's that. Listen,
you're devious.
I'm a devious one today. I am going to call on the community. That's right, folks. I'm calling on you because I need a big favor. And I need a big favor because Ham Solo is 26 subscribers away from 1K. Now, you've heard me go on about my speeches, about helping others and treat others how you want to be treated because my pops raised me right. But here's the thing. When Mrs. Boom and I decided to make this channel, we sat down and there were a lot of conversations that we had because I don't move an inch without Mrs. Boom. That's my partner. That's my best friend. And she's all of that before she's even my wife. So we do things together. We are a pair. We are a couple. And when we sat down and I said, I wanted to do this because she knew I wanted to get into gaming somehow, some way. We decided that at the crux, at the core, at the pillar of what we're going to pour this cement, community had to be number one, right? Followed with transparency and honesty and all of that. Yes, but community first. And as a podcaster who understands how hard it is to move in this industry known as YouTube, folks, there is nothing more gratifying, more satisfying, where you kind of just sit back in your gamer chair and go, I did it. Son of a bitch, I did it. And that's when you hit 1K, right? When you hit 1K, you become partnered. Now, Ham Solo is one of the guys that I wouldn't tell you to subscribe to if A, I didn't subscribe to him, or B, listen to his stuff. And you've seen him on as soon as last Sunday on the Iron Lords. They wouldn't have him on if he wasn't a class act. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do before we get into the amazing topics, and we got 3 real bangers to talk about. I'm going to throw his link in the chat. And like I said, I will never ask for myself. I will ask for others because that's how my pops raised me. So do me a favor. Let's get this man who's a special guest here today, who works incredibly hard, to 1K, and I would be greatly appreciated. I'm gonna drop that link in there. So Ham Solo,
do it.
Why should people subscribe to your channel? Please sell your brand.
I'll tell you why. Simply because we like to have fun,
and that's what it's about.
We like to have fun. We like to goof off. We like to talk shit. Excuse my language.
No, that's all right. It's fine. It's fine. We're all adults here. It's fine. A little curse word doesn't hurt anybody. My ears aren't bleeding. It's fine.
And see, our whole kind of shtick is we're all a fan of all of these dang consoles. Like,
yeah,
I'm an Xbox guy, but like I ain't stupid. If there's a good game on PlayStation, I'm gonna go play it. If there's a good game on Switch, I'm gonna go play it.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the panel that I usually have come through are just like that as well. We do bring the heat to Xbox when they do something silly, like this whole Brazilian thing. We ain't feeling that. Not feeling that kind of stuff. But PlayStation gets burnt up too. Nintendo gets burnt up too. Like anybody can get it at our podcast. But the whole thing is we try to make it fun. We try to make it digestible. We try to understand all aspects and just keep it a buck. And I have a great time on that show. As of right now, Xbox just seems to be killing it. So we loving on Xbox a lot right now. And I tell you what, Also, we like to make sure the community that is following us is getting quality. So any kind of like super chats or memberships and stuff like that that go to our channel, that helps us upgrade. I just had Boom on this last weekend, asking him a ton of different questions about StreamYard and whatnot, because we literally just spent a year, the yearly price for StreamYard, to give everybody a better, more smoother experience from me doing everything manually in OBS and whatnot. And then on top of that, yeah, we're just trying to do our best to just make sure that you guys are putting your money towards something that makes sense, not just towards my next video game purchase. I'm not just trying to take advantage and, you know, get and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to put back as much as everybody gives in, and in fact even more, because, you know, I love what I do. I like doing this stuff within the community, conversating with everybody, having a good time, because that's really what gaming's all about at the end of the day. And if you're not having fun gaming and you're just constantly complaining about it, then I'm not really sure what you're doing as a hobby. So
yeah, listen,
yeah.
I love the work that you do. We're gonna get you there. In fact, I'm gonna do a live on the. I'm refreshing right now, brother. Let's see. We got okay. So, folks, they're 7 away. He's 7 away, folks. 7 subscribers away.
That's insane.
Let's get it, folks. Let's get it. So let's introduce the remainder of the panel. We'll go to Danny last because he's on hold with a certain cable company that's a little slow in responding to a problem he's having. We won't shout them out. But Infinite Umbra, how are you feeling, kind brother?
I'm feeling largely well. A little tired, much like him today, but I'm here. You know, I'm here with you guys. I'm feeling all right.
No snitching, Umbra. No snitching. Remember.
Yeah, congrats on the new subs, and yeah, Ham is definitely worth subbing to.
He's 4 away, folks. We can do this. We can do this. So yeah, so it's good to have you back. You sound tired. I'm tired.
The 1,000 but yeah, happy to be here with you fellas today. If I am close to passing out, I will let you know.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah, let's talk.
Don't worry, we'll make it spicy for you, Umbra.
Yes,
we'll keep it. We'll keep it. Okay, there he is, folks. He got to 1K. Congratulations, Ham Solo. You have officially crossed 1,000 subscribers on TSWS Gaming. Live on the air, brother. Congratulations.
That was fast.
Bringing a tear to a brother eye right now. I tell you, a lot of hard work, awesome, man.
Yeah, you have. You absolutely have. You do. Listen, we love what we love the energy that you bring to the community. You're fair. You're honest. You have fun. And again, it's our pleasure here at Double Barrel Gaming to help you. And you know something, we've held some of the best. If you could imagine this, folks, and I say this story all the time, the freaking Iron Lords. Could you imagine that crew? You got King, you got Cog, you got Addict, you got Sovereign. Those 4 dudes bring it each and every week, and they had trouble getting to 1K. Could you freaking imagine that? And now they're over 20. And shout out to King David, who in 2 days, because, you know, he launched a new channel, got to 1K as well. So this is a celebratory kind of Xbox community right now. I love to see people succeed. And like, obviously, we're going to see, obviously we're going to continue the conversation. But once again, Ham Solo, congratulations. And listen, let's welcome in Steve Money, who has seen great success with him and the missus. How are you doing? How's the family, brother?
Oh man, we're doing good. Well, I mean, we're doing good, but we're all kind of taken down right now. Everybody's a little sick.
Yeah. I was told today by Kay Asante that I have not officially been a good Theo until I get my nephew's cooties, which I did over the weekend. He stayed over. He had a little bit of a runny nose, and now Theo is kind of dragging his wagon, so to speak.
Listen, that's the thing. When you're a good parent or a good, uncle, and you're there with them, you don't care that they're sick. You don't push them away and be like, "Get away from me, bro. You got the cooties."
Oh no, we actually were kind of just hanging out, playing Mario Kart and all kinds of stuff. So yeah,
and that makes them feel better. You know what I'm saying? The problem is when you're like us and you got 6 kids and they decide that a bunch of them are gonna get sick. It's just like, well, like my throat is just kind of like rejuvenated. Like all the last shows that we've been doing, I had to like, constantly hit the mute button. I'm coughing, dying, but I think
I was
I'm
just about to say pause until you add the last part. Okay.
yeah, yeah. No. I had to finish the statement. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't let it go that way. Excuse me. See, I just talked about it and started coughing. But nah, we're doing good, man. But we're having fun. A lot of fun stuff's been going on. So we've been having a great time on the channel. We were just on Dirt Crickety show last night. That shit was a ball. Like we had so much fun. So yeah, man, just loving what we got going on. Fun topics, great community. Awesome time to be an Xbox fan. This is literally the best time in all of history to be an Xbox fan. And it's the first time I would say in a long time that we can confidently know that mother effers are jealous.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. I'll put it to this way. Not only is it a great time right now to be an Xbox gamer because there's just been so much amazing news. What's even better is it's probably the best time ever to now be a content creator, that you actually have Xbox as your main point of conversation. But real quick, Hazard Man 79 drops a ridiculous, outstanding, even $20 super chat and says, "What's up, Boom Panel and Chat? Go Xbox." Indeed. And we have a new channel member, JFX88. My brother, thank you so much for the generosity. We appreciate you joining the channel. But Danny, are you ready to rock and roll, brother? When are they going to come and fix this hiccup that you've been having? How the heck are you?
Oh yeah, I have no idea. So right now the guy's trying to find the ticket number for the people that were supposed to be here like 2 hours ago, and he's like, "Nah, I'm just not finding it." So who knows? They could be here any second or never.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, for as long as we have you and your internet works, we're gonna get into it, folks. Listen, I want to jump right into the big Phil Spencer interview with Famitsu. Phil's been making the rounds, folks. Obviously he closed one of the biggest deals, or helped close one of the biggest deals in gaming tech history, in Xbox and Microsoft history. The status quo that is now Xbox is unbelievable. And what we are starting to see is the gaming media try to take revenge against this behemoth that Microsoft, or specifically Xbox, is now the woken sleeping giant. And I don't mean woke like they like woke. I mean like they were poked, they were prodded, they were made fun of, right? For years. The gaming media pounced on them, the gaming community pounced on them. Some even game designers pounced on them. And now, when you look at the dominance of 44 plus studios, and by the way, they're not done. And what we're about to talk about, if you're not on Team Xbox, or at least own one to try and have something different to play other than third person story driven over the shoulder games. And again, I'm a fan of those, and I am. I'm not dissing PlayStation. I'm just saying right now, PlayStation is in a bit of a pickle. They're leaderless, right? We know that they have no leadership there that knows what they're doing. Someone is just the interim. Hiroki Totoki is the interim head of SIE from Sony. That's not good. They got rid of Connie Booth, one of the best producers of 120 plus games since the PlayStation days. Gone, right? Her whole team gone. Spider-Man 2, great game. 8.5 out of 10 for me. I'm quite enjoying it. I'm halfway through, and I really like it. But that's it, folks. No roadmap. No nothing. Well, you want to talk about roadmaps, Ham Solo? Let's talk about what Phil Spencer had to say that should make you consider joining Team Xbox. No one's saying sell your PlayStation, sell your Nintendo Switch. Keep those too, because it's the more platforms you have to play on, well, the more rounded gamer you are. Well, he was interviewed and he was asked about the future of Xbox and not just console games. This is what Phil Spencer had to say. He says, first of all, I'm very excited for what the future holds. In terms of hardware, I think it's not just a matter of adapting to what other companies are doing, but also providing something unique for Xbox users. Just as we think of the ROG Ally in the Steam Deck as part of the Xbox community, we need to think of many of the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation users as part of the Xbox community in the future. Ouch, that stings for a lot of PlayStation diehards. Similarly, we think it's important to make sure that everyone who continues to play on Xbox, including those who play on Game Pass on PC, feel equally in the same community. There's a lot of work to be done. But you see, that's nice. That's Phil, right? That's corporate Phil. This is the dagger, and I'm going to read this for everybody on the panel. I want to read this for the chat because this is the onslaught, Ham Solo, that we've been talking about for years, and this is why this statement alone, even though it's not pointed at Sony, it's not a threatening statement. It's a factual statement. It should scare the shit out of PlayStation. Nintendo, they're going to do their own thing as they've always done. They have a new console coming out. They're launching with a couple of games, one of which is going to be a new 3D Mario.
They're stretching right now. They're doing warm-ups.
They're doing this. They're doing this. Yeah, they're having their latte. They're good. Nintendo's okay. Check this out, Ham. He says this, and I'm talking about head of Microsoft Gaming. In terms of the next 2 or 3 years, we plan to release a first-party blockbuster or anticipated title roughly every 3 months. And we are very excited about that. That statement, when you look at what PlayStation is doing, they're in a pickle, folks. If you're telling me that for the next 3 months, I'm no mathematician, folks, right? What Phil Spencer just told you and me and everybody listening right now is that for the next 2 to 3 years, so let's say it's 3 years, they're going to be releasing 12 AAA blockbuster titles for a year. That's not counting what they sprinkle in the middle. That's not counting the indies coming to Game Pass. And that's not counting the second and third party deals that they have coming into the surface. If you're Sony, you in trouble. Let's talk about it, Ham.
Oh man, I just while you were talking, I was just imagining the Dos Equis guy saying, "Stay thirsty, my friends," because it is just like, man, oh man, this man just like Phil Spencer is really out here making sure everybody is there is nothing for you to complain about. I'm sure you'll find something to complain about, but there is nothing for you to really complain about. They're saying, yo, Switch players, welcome on over. Come on and try some of these games and go ahead and try it on your own console. They're saying, hey, PlayStation fans, I know your leadership didn't like it so much, but we know you still want this. And then for Xbox fans, they're saying, remember how hungry y'all were around 2017? Nah, we ain't doing that again. Y'all gonna stay fed. You're gonna stay full, and you ain't gonna really want to get up out your seat. You know, that Thanksgiving dinner, you finna get it. You finna be eating. It's gonna be a problem. You're gonna have the cranberry sauce right next to you already know it's gonna be a messy plate full of food.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, bro, I'm very excited for the future for Xbox because this is gonna be the first time us as Xbox fans are going to be able to witness a consistent drop of games from Xbox. Sure, Xbox has had some pretty dope moments in the past, but one thing that's always plagued Xbox from them coming into the industry was staying consistent, being reliable from more or less a first party standpoint. They've had some great third party workings in the past. The 360, they spread out better than they ever did in the previous generation, but then they took kind of a slide, or a step to the sideline a little bit during the Xbox One generation. This time they are completely outside. They out there looking tough. They got the first squad out there, second squad, and even the practice team all out on the field right now. And they're letting you know that they are prepared for battle. So I don't know, Boom. I don't know what else to say really, other than this is an extremely proud moment from anybody that's been, an Xbox fan, a little frustrated with some of the games throughout the years, or not really the games as much as the cadence.
Yes.
So this will be a big change for everybody, and I'm excited to be part of it. I'm excited to be able to know all of you great individuals within the community, so we can all kind of celebrate it together. And hopefully we just garner more and more fans throughout the time, and you start to see that dial move from third place to second, and who knows, maybe even first.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna come a point, right? Like, and one of the things I think Microsoft and specifically Xbox really has going for them is if this is a traditional generation or platform launch, like, buy console, buy a game, play game on a console, wait 7 years, buy new console, buy new game, right? But Microsoft, even though they got clowned for it quite a bit, see money, is the fact that they have figured out a way to make some of the most bombastic investment in the platform that we've seen from anybody. And obviously that started out in post E3 2018 with Obsidian and Undead Labs and Playground Games. Well, there was South of Midnight developer. Compulsion Games was one of them. They announced the creation of the initiative. So post 2018, we started to see them starting to build the foundation. And obviously the whole Bethesda thing happened, and that's just, well, come on, that's legendary. And now they've picked up a few small studios in between there. And then the big one came the way of Activision. 44 studios later, they have figured out a way to make gaming affordable for everything. And this is where the human element of this conversation comes to play. A lot of people forget that this world kind of sucks right now, and everything's incredibly expensive, especially if you're on the West Coast. Gas is $7 a gallon. What?
Jesus.
Like, come on. So, being able to be a part of the gaming conversation, well, that we take, some people, you shouldn't take that for granted, because not everybody can do that. But you know what? If you're an Xbox gamer, you can, because for $17, or if you find deals like King David had put out a deal, I think for 12 months of Xbox Game Pass. I'll throw it in the chat if anyone's interested. It's $128 at CD Keys. 12 months. That's pretty freaking good, considering, do the math, 117 times 12. That's over $200, folks. Right? I think it's $204.
Wait, how much did you say it was?
128. $128 for 12 months.
So keep in mind that's less than PlayStation Plus Premium.
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah,
and you get day and date games. So you go to CD Keys. I'll drop it in there. Shout out to King David who put it out.
Please drop it in there because I need to click it.
Yeah. I'll drop it right now. But money. Let's get your hot take on Phil Spencer's proclamation, if you will, that the next 3 years is going to see a cadence of one AAA title per quarter, and that's not counting what they're going to add in the middle.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, first of all, love this reinvigorated Phil that we've been getting, right? Because Phil, he's heavy with that big D energy, right now. Like he's walking around
Oh.
every stage he takes, every interview he's given. He knows what he got. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows what he's sitting on. And I think it's just a matter of time before everyone else, and by everyone else, I mean the casuals, the people who don't follow it, before everyone else starts to see what Phil and Xbox are sitting on. I mean, the fact that he's brought it up again, he's just reminding folks, right? Because we already know, right? So he's saying that to the Japanese audience who really hasn't paid attention to Xbox, for the last couple generations, right? But you're now getting into a territory where they have Blizzard now. You know, Blizzard has their PC games that are big in Asia. They're going to be reaching new audiences that haven't really paid attention to them. So they're just reminding them because we already knew. We already knew we were getting one AAA a quarter. That was already facts, right? Like that was already coming. I mean, there's no way you can look at the roadmap and think otherwise, right? So the fact that he's saying it is just reinforcement. And frankly, the fact that he said over the next 3 years, I mean, let's call it what it is. There's no 3 years. It's just for now till forever because as they keep adding new studios, making teams bigger, we're just going to keep on getting more and more. And honestly, with the games being so good, it's kind of crazy because like I'm still playing Starfield. You know what I'm saying? Like as much as there's people who are able to kind of run through it and kind of move on, I think I'm probably more in the general sense of people where not everybody has all that time to kind of just plow into a game. And like I said, I'm still playing that. So, you have by the time the next big game comes out, it's like, holy shit, like I got to swap over to that. Like I can't, you got to kind of wait. So we're just going to be so inundated with high quality bangers, not to mention that they're not going to stop with Game Pass bringing in, games day and date on that side as well. You know what I'm saying? Because they do know no matter what they offer in a particular game, that's coming out, that AAA game is still not going to be every single person's cup of tea, right? And they still need you to stay engaged every single month in Game Pass. So you're going to get the smaller titles. You're also going to get whatever they bring in day and date from
Yep.
third party. And that's just that's just the new normal that's going to be happening for us going forward. And I got to say the amount of pony tears that I've seen, it's been really uplifting for me. I've been feeling really, really rejuvenated myself with just seeing how sad they are that Xbox is doing so amazing, right?
There's one particular person. I don't name names on this show, folks, because I don't want any beef.
I was going to bring
53
him
years
up if
old.
the guy that you're thinking about is the same guy.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
yeah.
about.
Please, I know where you're going. Sell it, brother. Sell it. It's okay.
So the idea, right, that one of these, head ponies in charge type of dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like one of the leader ponies, literally went on his show to cry publicly in front of everyone, and literally say that if Xbox
Yep.
were to flip the script and make it to the number one pole position, he would quit gaming.
Yep.
He would quit gaming
That's a thing,
if
folks.
Xbox were number one, because he says this is what his rationale is. He doesn't want to live in a world where spending money and the amount of money that you spend will make you number one, right? Now, let's dial that thought back a second. We've seen on the emails, how much money does PlayStation spend on their first party bangers?
I
Are
think
they
they're
spending
200
like
million a pop, brother.
200 million a pop? Do you think they would have gotten the same game if they only spent 20 million for their game or 30? No. They spend money. The funny thing is that it's only a problem when people are spending money when it's Xbox who's spending the money. Why? Because they know that when Xbox spends that money, it's not do or die for Xbox. If Xbox wants to spend 200, 300, 400 million on a game, then Xbox can do that and not even blink twice. Unlike our homies on the gaming welfare line, the PlayStation over there, we know that when they spend that 200 million, they got, there was Jim Ryan. I don't know who's there now, but they had their big prayer circle going around. They're just saying, "Oh God, let this happen. We need to make sure this comes back to us, because if not, we might not be here tomorrow."
Dear Father God.
Yeah, dear Lord, please. But this is the reality that we're in, and it's just such a glorious time to be on the right side of history and be a supporter of Xbox. And I'm not saying be a flip-flop supporter where you were on PlayStation side, but you were smart enough to see that shit wasn't gonna go your way.
I think a lot
And
of
you're
people
like,
made
"All
the
right."
move disingenuously by
course.
trying to quote unquote cash in on the popularity of PlayStation. And I'm not saying again, we don't name names here, folks. We don't got to do that. You know who I'm talking about. And that's why their channels are struggling. That's why all they do is talk about Xbox. It's crazy that you turn into a PlayStation. I try to listen to a lot of them, and I get turned off after the 10 minutes. I'm like, you know what? I just can't with this negativity. And all they talk about is Xbox, which is kind of crazy, because why shouldn't you be talking about your brand? Oh, that's right, because your brand is in shambles. Literally,
They don't
as
have anything to
is.
talk about.
They have nothing to talk
Zero
about.
to talk
Yeah.
about.
Well,
I mean-
one thing I wanted to throw in to the ring as well is it's like, it kind of reminds me of like that one friend that you always you hit up and you're like, "Yo, let's go out and do things." When they go out, they got the chain, they got the watch, they got the J's, they got everything on, looking phenomenal. That reminds me of Sony. But then when you're just like, "Yo, you want to go grab some food on the way home," and they're like, "I'm out of cash." And it's just like, yo, like, why are you out of money already? Like we're supposed to be hanging out and doing stuff. We're supposed to be like out here having a good time, and you spent all your money on looking good, and now you cannot sustain and feel good and be able to keep up with the rest of us as we are going to the next place. Now we're going to the after party. You can't even get no drink. We got to support you. But you are the most balding looking person in the car, but you ain't got no money. And that's just how it kind of feels like looking at PlayStation repeatedly. Like, it's like they look really good, but then they're so bare afterwards.
Yeah. Well,
You're saying it's shallow. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, potentially. Listen, we'll get C-Money back here in a hot second. I do want to bring Infinite Umbra in. But before I do, Raiden Blade, this is funny. This is for you, C-Money. He drops a £2 super chat, says hello, Boom Panel and C-Money, aka Mr. Arn Anderson. And if you are an old WCW guy,
Arn Anderson.
Laugh about
That's cold.
because he does look a little bit like Arn Anderson.
I thought he was trying to like insinuate that you were a pony or something because he's one of the four horsemen. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh wow, that is hilarious.
Okay, all right.
Four horsemen with Ric
Like you're a
Flair.
secret pony,
Oh,
one of the
man.
fabled pony bots I keep hearing
The
about.
one thing I can tell you right now, him and the missus are not ponies. That is for sure. They're Xbox folks.
Oh, I know.
But real quick,
Definitely
Highlander
do.
001 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, my Xbox and I will be in New Zealand tomorrow morning playing Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. My two friends who play at PS5 cannot do that. I'm in my second run through of Modern Warfare 3. I'm going to each board now to try and find all the weapons to get all the unlockables. Now, I don't know why I'm trying to get the unlockables, because all the unlockables for multiplayer, which I'm probably not going to play, but I might try zombies. I might actually try zombies. But listen, Umbra, let's get back on topic here. This Phil Spencer interview came out of nowhere. Again, he's traveling here, there, and everywhere, as Phil has been doing. Famitsu is a prominent gaming newspaper for and has been since the 80s. Them sitting down with Phil and him talking about that. First of all, some of the stats that he talked about, where they've had 4 times the amount of Xbox Game Pass subscribers in Japan that they've ever had before. They're growing in Japan. Now it's not like growing here, but they're going to get there eventually. They are putting down roots, and now Xbox is starting to be recognized. It may not be recognized as much as a Nintendo or a PlayStation because that's their home country,
Right.
but people are starting to come to Xbox as potentially a third platform, especially because you can play anywhere. When you hear Phil Spencer out there telling the world, specifically Famitsu, hey, what we have lined up for the next 3 years is 1 AAA banger per quarter, 4 per year, 12 in the next 3 years, and that includes South of Midnight, that includes Perfect Dark, that includes Gear 6 and Fable. And folks, just do the list. Just go through Avowed, Hellblade 2. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, this is the cadence that we saw Sony dominate in 2018, 2019, and 2020. And during that block, they put out a lot of really highly rated, well-received games. They sold a lot of consoles. If Microsoft or Xbox can deliver a year in 24, 25, and 26 like they did this year, the console sales thing is going to go in their favor. First place in the marketplace is going to go their way. Developers of games that traditionally went to PlayStation are going to be knocking on Xbox door. We're starting to see a change here that no one in their right mind that's not an Xbox fan ever thought could be done, and that's happening right now. What are your thoughts, man?
You saying the third party studio is going to be knocking on the door talking about, hey, big head. No, I can see that. I think, I think if you look at this year, it's been a really good year in gaming, right? As far as game releases, obviously not from the layoffs, hopefully those folks can land on their feet. But for gaming, as far as just game releases, it's been a crazy good year. A lot of people compare it to 2007, and for good reason. But I think that hearing things like that, and it's like C Money pointed out, we've heard this already from Phil when he had his kind of what seemed like an impromptu interview with the Kind of Funny team with Paris and Snowbike Mike and I forgot the other gentleman, Gary.
Gary Witter.
Yeah. And Phil reiterated it there, and he was like, we're so close, we're right there, I can see it. And so this is more of just a reiteration of that. And it, to me, though, when I hear it, I just smile. Like I see that, and I know that already you can see the outline. We know that the planning is there. They've already put the work in, the groundwork is there. They've got 44 studios now. Like, you can't help but land that. The biggest thing is the cadence. Is like what you guys said. It's the cadence, and it's also about the quality. So long as they nail both of those, I think, that thought of them moving from third place to first place as far as market share can absolutely be a reality. As far as Japan, when it comes to that, I mean, I heard you say that, and I'm like, yeah, that's good to hear that, they've quadrupled and some subs and things like that. But the cynic in me, knowing how bad it's been in Japan, was like, so they went from like 2 subs to 8. So I don't know. I mean,
you're not wrong. Honestly, you're not wrong when he says that. Obviously, he's listen. The number, a raise in the number is always going to be better than a decline in the number.
Absolutely.
I think what we're gonna have to see happen in Japan specifically is whether through acquisition or an extreme partnership, an investment, like for instance, into Sega, to bring brand awareness. Because listen, Sega may not be number one; they're not making consoles anymore, though I wish they were. They are still a power brand. They are as big and potentially as equally standing shoulder to shoulder with the Capcoms.
Well, I think it's not a matter of them standing shoulder to shoulder anymore, right? Because I think most people see Capcom as more of a premier releases nowadays.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
thing of it is
Well,
that
for hardcore people, right?
absolutely.
Like Capcom has the bigger hardcore audience, you would imagine, but at the same time, like we have to remember there's mobile, there's a lot more that's involved in Japan, and Sega definitely has a bigger footprint in the mobile game
Well,
than
sure, but beyond that, even
than
is
Capcom.
is the bigger factor that I think sometimes Xbox lacks and Nintendo has in spades, and Xbox could have,
Nintendo's a whole
but
different
they don't
beast for sure.
necessarily use some of the IP they have. It's nostalgia, and Sega has that in spades, and that's what I think would very much help Microsoft in Japan are the IP like the Sonics, the Altered Beasts, the so many other IP that they just don't use, that if Microsoft could actually help them get on board with. I mean, we still know about that big I forgot what they called it.
Yeah, the super game. That's
Super
what it is.
game,
Yeah, the super
exactly.
games. They're working with them. Yeah.
Exactly. We know about them working with them on that. So stuff like that is what I think could help them for sure. I mean, Sega seems like to be on a short list. So as far as when it comes to Japan, I don't know the answers necessarily to turn it around there. I think they have their mind made up. And I don't want to sound funny when I say it, but I think our Japanese brothers typically stick to Japanese consoles. You know what I mean? And be it Nintendo or be it Sony, specifically Nintendo though. And I think they're kind of like, hey, we're good. We got our Mario, we got our Pikmin, we got, you know what I mean? We got our Zeldas. We don't really need you guys. So it's a matter of trying to get over that hump and get games and IP that they are drawn to. Mobile is a strong one that could help them a lot there. So yeah, I do agree there, obviously, with Sega as far as that goes, but also too, with the Candy Crush and things like that, and Call of Duty, Warzone, and things of that nature. So all of those things are going to help. I just don't know the right formula to get them over that hump in Japan. But I think Japan is just, I mean, as much as we would like to say, yeah, they're doing well in Japan too, Japan is kind of a minuscule thing for Xbox, in general. I think the bigger markets they need to keep a hold of is here in America and obviously in the UK. That's what they need to get. I mean, they have a foothold in Brazil, things like that. Mexico, I know, loves Xbox too. And that's right, Def Leppard. I live life in Unreal Engine 5. That is correct. But yeah, I think that the fact of it is that Japan is kind of minuscule in the big scheme of things. You know what I mean? I think that
I will say you are correct in saying so, but I do like the fact that there has not been an abandonment of it. Like, kind of throw your hands up. Hey, listen, we suck here.
and that's what I appreciate, because Phil has stayed true to his word, and as far as actually getting Japanese titles over and things of that nature, and working to get like JRPGs over and things of that nature. So all of that is very much welcomed. I love those types of games. So I'm one of the rare Xbox fans who like those types of games, where others like, I don't want that cutesy anime. I like it.
I love the JRPGs. I do.
Yeah.
The 360 was loaded with them. They had some really, really good ones. Lost Odyssey is the tip of the spear for me. I would love to see a remake on a level of Final Fantasy VII, that kind of care and love, where
Absolutely.
that would be,
and not even just JRPGs, but even the ones that's heavy in the anime styling of things. A lot of people don't really
one of your favorites this year. Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush, absolutely. So, and so I love the fact that that Phil has held true to his word. That's the one thing you can give Phil his credit for.
I think that's the only thing that really, the only thing that really matters anyway, right? Like this, I know the conversation about turning things around in Japan or anything like that. Like that's all cool and shit, but like nobody gives a shit, right? Like that doesn't matter to us as long as Phil is committed to releasing, getting at Japanese publishers and Japanese
Mhm.
developers to make us games. Whether the Japanese folk decide that that works for them or not, could give three shits, right?
That's why I
Like
said
it
it. That's
doesn't
why I
really
said
matter.
it feels kind of minuscule because I don't see them for one turning over a major uh you know turnaround in Japan in any time soon. I think they're slowly improving, but it's just going to be a slow improvement. But the bigger ones are the UK and America.
Yeah.
Really. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
absolutely. You'll see it. Like I said, UK is going to be big for them, and obviously they need to continue to put the pressure on Sony
Mhm.
here. But
And I think they're about to.
yeah,
I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea and think that I'm being negative here. But my thing of it is no, I hear Phil say that, and I know that the cadence of releases are about to hit. We already know it with all the studios they got. The obvious big one is now they have Call of Duty. So by the time those games start hitting Game Pass, it's about to be a crazy turnaround as far as subs and things like that go in general. So
I
I'm
think
just excited
I
to
feel
see
like we're
all of that.
missing. I feel like we're missing one thing, kind of. And I mean, Umbra alluded to it a little bit, but I think like like Xbox will really be able to hit in Japan when mobile gets to roll.
yeah,
When mobile gets to rolling, that's when you're gonna see like, man, Japan and Xbox are really working well together. Because I think the reason that Xbox is quadrupling in Japan, like Phil Spencer said, is because of their accessibility. They have now PC that folks in Japanese can now folks in Japan can now jump in and play, right? Not just the Xbox. The Series S was kind of tailored for them as well, right? In a way. So
Well, he
keep
brings it up in the interview, so yeah.
yeah, exactly. So there's a Series S, there's PC, and here comes the biggest meat and potato piece of gaming that everybody likes to overlook, which is mobile. So I think once mobile comes in there, because I remember back in the day, man, how like Asian, like them folks out there in Asia were running Clash of Clans, man. Dang, they were running Clash of Clans over there hard, and it goes like that for a lot of different mobile games. So I can only imagine once Xbox really puts their foot down with King and gets their own app together on a phone, man, being able to go from your phone to or into the cloud, into a PC, and then into your console, man, that's gonna be crazy.
yeah, yeah. It absolutely is. Listen, let's bring in Danny to get his hot take on this. But before we do, folks, check out the link. I just dropped it in there. King David posted this today. It is a 12-month subscription from CD Keys for Xbox Game Pass for 128 bucks. That is phenomenal, especially if you like if you like I like having 3 years. Whenever it starts to dip a little bit, I add some more. Dip a little bit, add some more. I'm always like I'm paid up until 6/16/26, and I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to drop the link again for you. This is at cdkeys.com. Again, shout out to King David who posted this earlier today. It is a 12-month subscription for 128 bucks, and if you pay 17 a month, do the math, that is $204, and you're paying almost half. So yeah, get on that. But Danny, let's get your hot take on this. Look, you and we've had these conversations, you've had these talks on the fix with Umbra on a regular basis. Cadence is key to keeping the quote unquote boot on the neck of Sony, which they're going to do. And if Phil, is a man of his words, and we know that he is, he talked about this going back even before ABK was done. We have, like you heard Matt Booty during the last E3. We don't know where to put games. We have so many games coming out, we just don't know where to put them. And people were like, "Yeah, what does this guy know what he's talking about?" That's Peaches right there. That guy is an assassin, which is why he got the raise
Fucking
he got.
Peaches.
Yeah, that's AKA K Asante is the one. I don't know what it means, but I like it. So
You don't know what it means?
Probably some
No,
mafia reference or something.
what does peaches mean?
Well, because the peach emoji is used to represent a butt, and his last name's Booty.
Okay, it's right over the mohawk. Thank you for bringing this old man into reality.
What's
going on?
I'm old.
They're saying his booty is very peachy.
It's very peachy. Well, I don't know so much if I like that now. I don't know.
K Asante
Anyway,
likes some juicy, apparently.
Look, hey man.
Listen,
we all
like
do.
what you like. We are an inclusive podcast.
Ain't
Like
nothing
what you
wrong
like.
with
Everyone
that.
is welcome. Danny, look, Phil Spencer in an interview said, "Look, our goal is to have one AAA game per quarter." He reiterated that during this interview for Famitsu, and we know a lot of the games coming up. We saw the list. We saw the Clobriel, future board, if you will, of what's coming. It's pretty ridiculous how many games they have on tap that are going to be released in the next 3 years. How big of a deal is if they can hit this cadence?
Well, I think at this point it's pretty much mandatory. They've set themselves up on this on the Game Pass thing, and what that means is that basically their entire subscription base, like their biggest source of income, pretty much is going to come down to how long they can keep people subscribed and how fulfilled they can make people who are subscribed feel, like how happy they can make them with the service. And so their goal, they've been saying it forever, was to have a game every quarter, every 3 months.
Yeah.
And from what we've seen and from the number of studios that they have, they're either at that number or very close, at least. I forget who in like the magic number of what they thought that would be. And I think they at that point had said it was like 50 studios. But when you consider that a lot of the studios that they have currently have multiple teams, like Machine Games just opened another one, they might be over that number already. I'm not really sure how that math pans out. But it's like, with the amount of just workforce they have making games right now, it seems almost inevitable that they're going to be able to hit 4 games a year. They had 4 games a year this year, and granted, one of them was Redfall, and Hi-Fi Rush was a very small thing, but still, like, they hit that cadence this year. So it's like, yeah, I'm confident that they'll be able to hit that going forward. The only question for me is, like, at what point does that not become enough? And then at what point do they want to step it up to, like, oh, do we need a game every other month? I don't necessarily think they should ever get to a point where they need a game every month, because so many of their games are like live service games, and there's no need for that. You know what I mean? You're gonna have all these other like third party stuff in there anyway. But it is that thing of like, they are creating this workforce, this monstrous army of just like immeasurable proportions, where it's like, yeah, of course they're going to get this stuff out. They could delay 4 games next year and still hit that cadence. Like, that's where we're at. And I think that's, really good for them. It's basically mandatory for a subscription service model. And I think it's going to be really hard for other people to compete with, especially if they stick specifically to sort of the old school way of thinking it, which is not to say that the old school way can't still be successful, just that it won't be as successful. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, unfortunately, Nintendo is and appears to be unfazed by the success of Xbox Game Pass, right? Like,
Nintendo doesn't need to change anything.
No,
I don't know how they do what they do.
They are one of the few companies that have their ratio for console sales to games that people buy for the console are the highest in gaming. Now, that's not every title. Like, I saw Pikmin 4, like 2.1 million. That's a very niche title. It didn't sell as well as I'm sure that they wanted, but the fact that they released it and then did an HD version for Pikmin 1 and 2, that's why I love Nintendo, right? Some of their other ones, I mean, they're 40, 50 million strong. When you look at Mario Kart and such.
Well, boom. That right there, though, is why Phil said he sees them as part of, those fans as Xbox fans as well for Sony and Nintendo.
Yep.
Because if they can actually, And he's only really saying it because he wants to get the Xbox Game Pass app on Nintendo too. That's what it really means, and we all know that.
Well,
And
he's
if,
a businessman. That's what he's
absolutely, and if they can, and if he can do that and get Game Pass on Nintendo, I know a lot of people will like, what do we get from Nintendo? Like,
well, he doesn't want to get Game Pass on Nintendo. He wants to buy Nintendo.
Well,
Did you see the email?
I did see that email. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Good on Phil. Good on
Yeah.
Phil.
but
Dream big, damn it.
absolutely, but yeah, like getting Game Pass on Nintendo is a W. That's what they
Yeah.
really. That's if you're talking about as far as grabbing an audience and Japanese audience and growing Game Pass and such, that would do it right there enough. So I think that's the end goal for them ultimately, is trying to get Nintendo and Sony to put Game Pass on their platform.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if they can get it done, that would be kind of dope, especially considering that the next console is going to be more on par with next gen. It would be great to see. But look, at the end of the day, this was a great opening salvo. But obviously, we're here to talk about World of Warcraft coming to Xbox. And I think that this is going to be a turning point for the console. Look, I don't play WoW, folks. I've never played WoW. I don't think I will ever even boot it up, to be honest with you. But I know that there are a lot of people that really dig that game. One of them, Jess Corden from Windows Central, talks about it all the time. In fact, we learned that when they had that conference and they had BlizzCon, we learned from Mike Ybarra that they are consistently talking about bringing World of Warcraft to console. And you know what's interesting? And I'm going to go first here to Danny on this. Danny, look, at the end of the day, it's an MMO. And it is a legendary MMO for, and again, one I've never personally played. I have no interest in playing the
Not
game.
at all?
No, never in my whole life ever
Wow.
played WoW. Because I've never had a big, I've never been a PC kind of a gamer. I've always been a console guy. But I cannot deny.
I've never played it either. Boom.
Oh, well, there you go. I cannot deny, Danny, how big of a deal this would be to bring this to console. People have been asking for it for years, and now we are on the cusp of that actually happening. And what's interesting, and I don't know if they do this. I'm not a numbers guy, right? I don't have a PhD. I'm just talking from a podcast point of view. There's going to come a point where they're going to try and incorporate the WoW subscription into Xbox Game Pass. They're paying $15 a month. I would imagine there's going to be some way they're probably going to do it. Now you can call it falsity numbers, you can call it whatever you want. They're paying customers, and they're going to try to get everything roped into Xbox Game Pass. It would be pretty crazy that if they were to say, "Hey, listen, WoW subscribers, moving forward, WoW is going to be available in Xbox Game Pass." I don't know if they raise it, if they keep it, for a certain amount of time. New players are paying the $16.99. Old players are paying the $15. But I don't know how they're going to do it. But I can tell you, when that happens, when WoW is actually on console, I'll tell you where it's not going to be. It's not going to be on PlayStation. And I say that with confidence because you know something? Right now, WoW is available on no consoles. So there's no need to bring it to PlayStation. There just isn't. I would keep that exclusive to Xbox and PC because, well, they spent $70 billion to get that done. For you played it.
Yeah,
I don't know how much you really enjoyed it or you didn't, but for console centric players, would this be a big deal?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like Warcraft has survived for so long for good reason. It's extremely addictive for one, but also just a really good game. That universe has so much intrigue and lore to every aspect of it. Like I was talking on the Fix to Umbra about just like very small aspects of it, and he was like, I didn't know any of that stuff. Like I didn't know that game did that stuff. And I was like, yeah. There's all kinds of craziness. It's been going on since like, what was it, like 2004? I think the original vanilla came.
You should expand on that, Danny. Tell them a little bit of what you were saying. Like,
oh yeah, so because it's that thing where like so much has changed, right? Because you can go back now with certain of the, like there's vanilla classic, or there's Like I think they have Classic all the way up through Wrath, and they just announced that they're going to do Cataclysm as a Classic as well. So you can go back to those expansions. But up until they started doing that, there was no way to go back and look at some of that old content. And so when things happen, like when Cataclysm happens and Deathwing flies over and destroys half the continent, that's real. Like that actually happens. It happens in game. Like you'll be just walking around the Barrens and then Deathwing flies over and all of a sudden you're on fire and the whole world is gone, right? Like crazy things are happening. Or like a new player who starts World of Warcraft today will walk into Stormwind and see the new king there. And that's like the third king. And I don't know if there's any like lore or like any way for you to go back and find out who those other people were or meet those people outside of going to the classic stuff. But like things have changed dramatically in that world constantly. Like every update, every expansion does genuinely change the world. And so people who have been in that universe since vanilla or even, just for any appreciable amount of time are sort of like built into it, where it's like, I've been here since before Magni was a diamond. They're like all kinds of stuff, right? like it's crazy. It's a phenomenal universe, and I think that this is something that people have been asking for since even before the Activision thing was even on the table, right? People wanted this on console for. I think it was always sort of a surefire way to get more people to come in.
Yeah.
Depending on which platforms you put it on, it's just like. Warcraft is as popular as it is for a reason. And if you just give more people access to it, whether that's through Game Pass or just on a PlayStation or whatever, they're going to show up and play it, right? Because why wouldn't you? Right. And especially now that Xbox, at least, I don't think PlayStation does, but Xbox at least has like keyboard and mouse support. I don't know why more games aren't brought over to the Xbox, even if they can only be used with mouse and keyboard. Like there's some RTSs I would love to play on my couch, right? I'd love to have the Total Wars over there. I'd love to have really any of the other MMOs. Like why can I not play SWTOR or Guild Wars or any of that on my console, right? And I think that now that we're in an area where consoles are more PC like than ever, it doesn't really make sense to not do this anymore, especially if like the people who make it just got bought by one of the big console manufacturers. Like of course they're going to put it on there. Will they also put it on PlayStation? I don't know, maybe. Like it's a huge franchise. It's probably damn near as big as Call of Duty, so like maybe I wouldn't hold it against them if they did. But just I don't know, maybe also put it on Xbox and do the same thing that Final Fantasy 14 did forever. They're like, we're working on it, it's totally coming, it's gonna happen for like 10 years or whatever.
Love it. The old "we're working on it" excuse.
We're working on it, it's coming for sure.
I love it.
I hate that. I hated it so much the whole time. It's one of the big reasons why I just like never played I played a little bit of 14, but anyway, yeah, I don't know why that's not already a thing. So yeah, this is a surefire like way to bring in probably a couple extra million people in. And the other aspect of this is people always want to bring up like, oh, Warcraft numbers are down, and that is true, like from their heyday, but Warcraft still makes buku bucks. Like they're doing fine. Like Warcraft has a lot more competition now than they really ever had before. Like 14 does really well. SWTOR does a little bit. Like there's a lot of MMOs that are out and have a player base now, and especially with like all of these gas games like Fortnite and stuff, it's just like, where are you going to spend your time, so putting it onto a new platform gives it new life, and it's just do it. Like it's the most like surefire way for both Blizzard and Xbox to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
I absolutely agree. I think it would be brilliant. Again, not for me, but I always say this, folks. Not every game is for every gamer. But the fact that you can bring an experience that notoriously has only and ever been on PC to bring the console, bring the Xbox consoles, I think would be big. Real quick before we bring in Ham Solo.
Big.
What's that?
No, I was saying it would definitely be big. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we will get your hot take because I know you're gonna have a pointed hot take on it. Scott Woodford, he tells us after dropping a very generous $2 super chat, says, "I'm a pony bot. A Sony and Xbox fan, love the content, brother. There is nothing wrong with that. Love what you love. I love PlayStation too. I don't like Sony. I don't like the way they rake us over the coals for everything. I'm disgusted by the way they do that, but I'm not going to sit here in front. I wouldn't buy a new Uncharted game. Hell freaking yeah, I would. A new God of War, absolutely. Horizon, sure, absolutely. Not even a second thought. But you
Like
know,
PlayStation, just to be clear, doesn't make you a pony.
right?
The pony aspect is your behavior,
The
right? Your
behavior.
behavior as a PlayStation fan is what categorizes you as a pony,
As a
Right.
right?
hooligan, exactly.
Exactly.
Hooligan.
Exactly.
You need
Just
you need to patent that for sure.
gamers are gamers. So gamers will play where the games are if they
Right.
have the means to do it. But the people who sit there and spend their lives talking crap about Xbox because at one point Xbox was the weaker of the two and they had their grins and giggles and they get off on talking crap to Xbox fans, that's what makes you a pony. So the fact that you're here and you're not talking crap about Xbox leads me
Just
to
makes you a
believe that
fan.
you're just a regular old PlayStation fan and gaming fan,
Yeah,
which
nothing wrong
is
with that.
who we all are and what we're all okay being around.
Matt,
You know what I'm
absolutely. Hey, Umber, did you see the Wakanda Forever helmet that I'm wearing?
Oh,
On this-
wait. Well, for your Spartan?
Yes.
What is it? Is it the Sangeli helmet?
I think that's what it is. They
Yeah.
just released it.
I bought that too.
Dude, it looks like the Black Panther. I was like, oh my god,
It kind of
yes!
does, yeah. I got it, and I got
get-
the pose with the sniper rifle. I got to take a picture of it and post it.
Oh, that's dope.
Twitter.
That's
looks
dope. Yeah,
dope.
play Halo Infinite season 5,
Oh, I
folks.
have been.
It's freaking
You know what?
ridiculously
To
good.
go off topic a bit. Me, myself, it was Jedi Knight Peter, it was Holly, it was Cole Eastwood, it was Hargeet. It was a bunch of us.
What
right?
a crew, dude.
Oh,
That's
we was deep.
awesome.
We were like 12 or 13 deep, and
Oh.
we played Halo over the weekend, man, and we had some fun. We were singing, laughing, joking all throughout the whole thing, talking about photo mode.
Yeah, I got to get in one of those game nights
Yeah,
because
you
that's just dope. That is what Halo is all about.
Yep.
And I'm so happy that it's hitting. Could you imagine, folks? Microsoft is hitting on all switches, and Halo is coming back. Like, how dope is that? Like, how fitting is that for the Chief? Now,
Go
all
hand
we
in hand.
need,
Hand in hand, baby.
well, all we need is they need to figure out the single player stuff. I'm sorry, we need it, but
allegedly is
making it,
moving
bro.
on
It's
the
already
engine too.
happening.
Allegedly,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
yeah. Listen, we shall see. But Hitman, generous friend of the program, who's been a channel member for 2 months, says, I don't think Xbox buys in Asia. In my opinion, they get EA having all EA Sports day one and having over half of PS5 most popular games to fund Xbox first party. Man, could they even close an EA? Like, that to me seems like that would be a fight.
EA.
Like, that would be
They
like
wouldn't be. I don't think they will be able to get them anyway. But
personally, look,
I
I don't. What I don't want to see is a long, drawn out something. I think Microsoft, I think Phil and the team, they're all exhausted. This ABK thing took the wind out of their sails. What I'm hoping for are the IOs, IO Interactive. What I'm hoping for is Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Certain Affinity potentially, Asobo, Avalanche Studios. All of these teams are actually working on Xbox first party exclusives. You'd like to see them retain this talent and just add them to XGS, and bring their number. Can you imagine when they can say they have 50 studios? It's too much to even think about. But
the having 44 is already insane.
It is.
Within
It is
5
already
years
ridiculous.
with that.
Con Artistic. I love the name. That is pretty dope. He drops a $5 super chat and says, did anyone say ABK makes games for PlayStation and Nintendo, now a part of the Xbox community? Yes, as a matter of fact, Phil Spencer said that. He says he thinks of these gamers and on PlayStation and on Nintendo as part of the Xbox community. Not so much gamers, but as the Xbox community. I see what he was going for. I know exactly. I mean, listen, it's
an Xbox game.
Yeah, it is an Xbox game. There's no doubt about it. Hitman drops an additional $5 super chat. Says, you guys think Xbox needs a new GP tier, Game Pass tier that includes memberships to ESO plus Fallout 76 and WoW?
Don't give him any ideas, Hitman.
I mean, look, I I don't know if they need a third tier. They just raised it by $2. Right now, $2 is not $40 like we saw with Sony, who are still not offering day and date and probably never will. I think with the additional $2, if they were to add, because you got to remember they're getting the $15 per person for WoW now. That's part of their stuff. The money that they're gonna make on mobile is basically gonna be ridiculous. Like, I don't know if anyone saw this. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. There are currently, and I'm not making this up, folks. I think it's closer to 50 now. 50 million pre-registered players for Call of Duty Mobile. Like,
that's crazy.
what? Like,
Yeah.
the game doesn't
It's
come
wild.
out until spring of 24, and it has almost 50 million pre-registers. Like, when that
PlayStation fans
game,
don't understand these numbers, bro. These ponies don't understand the numbers that Xbox rocking with nowadays.
nah, it's gonna make so much
Those are
money.
thousands.
It's
Oh
just
man, look
great.
at my console sales though. Look at my console.
console
Yeah, I
sales.
know.
That's right.
Look at the console sales for consoles that nobody's playing on.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
2.5 million Spider-Man games sold, my dude.
you know
on,
what?
man.
Real quick, EJ Jackson in the chat. He drops a very generous $2, which just says, "Boom, did you check your Xbox messages for the code?" So you know what? Let me see what he has done, because EJ is incredibly generous. I'm going to open up. You know what? While I open up the game bar live on the air and answer EJ, let me bring in. Let's continue with Ham Solo. For you, sir. I mean, I don't know whether you're a WoW player or you're not.
Nope.
Would it be a really big deal looking at it from an industry perspective, but also from a console perspective, to get WoW for the first time on a home console?
Look, Boom, that's a game changer. That's a game changer bringing it to a console. 100%. 100%. How many times? I mean, bro, you're telling me all I gotta do is spend $300 to get a Series S to be able to play WoW? Like people build PCs to play WoW,
Yeah.
right? So I'm just saying, like, $300, and you just grab yourself a monitor, you are all set. You're all set. You saving money from the jump, and keep in mind, as time progresses, I mean, really, this is Xbox saying, "Hey, we're making our hardware still relevant in the future because we understand not everybody wants to build a PC, right?" Think about being able to play WoW on your phone. How about that?
That's just crazy, dude. Yeah.
We got Rumble.
I'm just saying, like, this WoW thing being able to be able to, I mean, this is kind of like
Wow.
what I kind of look at as like the blooming moment for possibly WoW. And if you see the way that they were talking about it at BlizzCon, and just the way Mike Ybarra was on stage, like, bro was about to cry because he was so excited and happy
Yeah.
about the future that was to come. Phil Spencer coming out saying, our whole plan is to give y'all more ways to play. What do you think they're gonna do with all of their biggest games? They, like you guys just said, they want to make Call of Duty more accessible. So what do they say? What did they say to Nintendo and Sony? Welcome to the crew. Instead of "see you later, get away, we don't need you," like Sony traditionally does, they said, "Come on the boat. You good? You can rock. You can rock with us." So just see the way that unfolds for a game that they're not gonna exactly share, possibly, because if they don't share WoW, but they keep it within the umbrella of like Game Pass and keep it within the consoles, PC, but then also phone and cloud, like, just that alone is a massive boost for something like WoW. Like, just the accessibility behind it. I mean, this is the kind of stuff I was talking about when I said that this could that this mobile stuff and whatnot can be a big deal in Japan. the accessibility stuff like that can be a big deal in Japan, because now you're giving them easier access without so much of I don't have enough money. How am I going to pay my rent and get this? No, 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 no. You just go on ahead, hit up that corner store, pay $300. You got yourself a Series S, and you able to play WoW. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
It
It makes so
is
much
pretty
sense.
ridiculous. And I think when you consider, like, we're in the third year of the generation, right? November made a full 3 years. No, I think it was launched November 6th, 17th, 2020. I'm not sure if I'm not mistaken. So we're coming up on the third year anniversary. There's going to be a point where these consoles are going to be cheaper to make. Now, I don't know if they're going to do a mid-gen, but I think Phil already said no. We don't want to, right? Because I think their next generation console. And again, you heard it here first, and you heard it on many podcasts. I'm just adding to the conversation. I think it's going to be a hybrid. I think it's going to be a handheld. I think it's going to have I think it's going to have a Series S power undocked and a Series X power docked. That's just, again, this is my opinion. No behind the scenes stuff. That would be dope. That would be dope. But let's see. See Money, let's bring you into the conversation. I don't know whether or not you're a WoW player. I think what Danny has put down, who has stepped out, I guess. Let me see what he said over here. He's having
his internet guy came.
Oh, okay. So he's gonna be back in a hot minute. For you, again, we're looking broader picture here, right? We know that mobile is almost instantaneously in Microsoft's pocket. Like they had no presence, and they are sitting atop with the kings and queens of Apple and Google. Like, they went from no stake to we are now rubbing elbows. And you better watch out, because we have Call of Duty, we got World of Warcraft Rumble, which apparently was number one for a bit and might still be number one now. They have Hearthstone, which is still a thing. They're in it. Let's just say that. How important, and I didn't even think about this. So shout out to Ham Solo for the ideology of WoW on phone. Like, I didn't even consider that. That's just crazy. How big would it be for WoW to finally come to consoles, specifically Xbox?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, as far as Xbox is concerned, I mean, every single thing that they release on as many things as they can, minus the PlayStation, is a huge boost for them, right? Because they want all of their games everywhere, right? And obviously, you guys saw, the interviews going around with like Blizzard's employees talking about how excited they are, how they're already been in talks with considering, how to bring World of Warcraft to console. It's this is all gonna be the new norm, right? Whatever IPs they have, they are going to always look at how can we bring this to the console if at all possible. And realistically today, the vast majority of the games outside of the very few versions of games that are capable of being run on a controller, for the most part. Obviously, having keyboard and mouse support on the Xbox will be a benefit too for some of these games. Um, but as many people as they could put these games in front of is definitely going to be a huge W for them. Regardless of what that game is. And there's a lot of people who are not used to those PC type games like a World of Warcraft, because if they've been console only their whole lives, it's really not something that they've been exposed to. But that's where Game Pass comes in. And I know we talked about the people who here even on the chat, you guys were saying, let's not give them any ideas. Bro, I get that, right? Let's not necessarily make them think about raising it, but at the same time, if they went ahead and did a halfway point between just having a WoW subscription and just having a Game Pass subscription, and called it some type of bundle that not only gives you WoW, but maybe some of the other, subscription based games that they have, like Elder Scrolls or whatever. Um, if they allow that to happen and made it just a bit more money, you might have an even bigger influx of people going to try out these games and going to play these games. Because I think bringing it to console just as is, yeah, people are going to want to try it, but it's still a commitment that they would have to make. They would have to do like a pretty good free trial or something like that on Game Pass. Maybe that's what it is. Um, but the key is getting the people to play it. Right, so putting on the console is one step, but still, you just because something's on the console doesn't mean people play it, right? So they would need to figure out how to make it, where people will want to kind of hop in, um, and again, we're talking people who don't have experience, like me, right? Like if they brought WoW in tomorrow and said, "Hey, it's available on Xbox," right? Um, but I still have to kind of subscribe to it or, pay something to get involved. I mean, chances are I'm not really that interested in it, right? So because I haven't experienced it, I don't feel like I need to, and I wouldn't want to spend money to do so. Um, but if they said, hey, if you have Game Pass, there's a 15-hour free trial, or you know something like that, or maybe, hey, spend a little more money and you get access to this and some other perks that they can give you, like that would make somebody like me, or make me be like, all right, I think it'll be worth trying out. I mean, I have a very capable PC. If I wanted to play Warcraft and spend the money, I could have done that a long time ago. So, and I don't know, I think that at the end of the day, bringing it is the smart thing to do, right? You got to do
Yeah.
it,
Options,
because
right?
I mean,
Options of
yeah,
nothing wrong with
that's really what it
options.
is. You want people to have the option to do it, but I think that they would have to take it a step further and not just give the option, but give smart options to get people who are already spending money with Game Pass. How can it benefit them to the fact that you brought WoW here, right? Like Game Pass is still the circle of what they want to continue to grow, because Game Pass goes beyond the box, right? Game
Yep.
Pass goes to PC, Game Pass goes to mobile, Game Pass goes to cloud, goes everywhere, right? So Game Pass is what they're focused on growing. So that needs to be, what are they going to do with Game Pass to make bringing WoW relevant to the Game Pass, you know, market, right? Um, but yeah, man, at the end of the day, it's all a big W for Xbox going forward, man. There's nothing, they have so much, and as long as they keep doing what they can to bring things forward, um, and not only WoW, man, StarCraft, you bring
That's
StarCraft.
that. Let me tell you something right now. I'm not an RTS guy. There's only like a handful I've ever played. My favorite of all time. You heard me say this: Aliens versus Predator on the OG Xbox. My God, what an absolutely astounding RTS game, because you got to play as the aliens, the Predator, and the Marines. It was dope AF, right? That's one of the few.
Nice.
But I'm telling you, they bring back StarCraft. It is going to. So you think it's big here? No. This is where the
Asia, bro.
Asian market starts to get crazy. If they bring StarCraft back, whether that be on console or specifically mobile, dude, it is over. That is going to make so much money. It's going to be
Nice.
insane. And that's why they're working on it now. They can say whatever they want. They're not going to, make any announcements. That game's being worked on literally like right now, because they know it's a moneymaker.
Absolutely. And they
Um,
even Ibarra was talking about, they're already thinking about bringing it back outside of the RTS, right? And
mhm.
which obviously hints to the idea of maybe Ghosts coming
Starcraft
back.
Ghost. Yeah,
Let's do it.
vaporware. Finally.
The dopest looking game that never ever released.
N64 game, folks. Go look it up. StarCraft Ghost. That looked
It
like
looks
it was
so
going to
dope.
be a banger. And if they could bring that character, that female lead character, into next gen, like I'm all for it.
Yeah, I
Listen,
feel that, man.
let's bring in Infinite Umbra. Let's get your hot take. But before we get to you, let me just read these two super chats. Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat. And see, this is pretty interesting. And this is This is how you know there's a turning of the tide. He says, I have 4 friends who picked up an Xbox Series X just on the thought that WoW was coming to consoles, and they love the games in Xbox Game Pass. This is what, look,
Tripped and fell in the trap.
next year, not this year, next year, when Microsoft has sole custody of marketing for Call of Duty, and that is on Xbox Game Pass as a splash page or on the console boxes, it is over. It is over. The normie community
Facts.
that is about 80% of PlayStation gamers, 80% of the gamers that bought a PS4, that went out and bought a PS5, are considered the casual audience that buy 3 games a year. When Microsoft is doing the sole marketing for the next Call of Duty, which is expected to be the next Black Ops in Afghanistan, you're going to see a migration like you've never seen before. And that's because Sony wants to continue to clobber you, charge you $76.43 per game, charge you $160 plus tax for a service, garbage service that gives you nothing extra except for some crummy movies and a couple of games per month, no day and date, and they're it's crazy to me. Like that's not going to change. So you're going to start to see the people who count their money, who aren't like loaded. Like, wait a second, what is this Game Pass thing? I have Hulu, I have Peacock, I have all this other stuff. I'm already paying for all this stuff. Game Pass, all these games, Call of Duty free. I can get Call of Duty for free because that's what they're going to say, folks. I can get Call of Duty for free. I'm signing up.
Sounds like
what's
with
gonna
the full
happen.
custody. It sounds like, Microsoft is the mother that has the baby, and so paying child support.
I thought that for a hot
Right?
second
That's
too.
what
I might have
thinking.
framed that a little bit wrong with the custody, but you're right about that. Real quick, Scott Gamer
so
Dude
true,
drops a
though.
very generous
So true.
$5 super chat and says, "Hello, Boom. I'm an old school WoW player." Well, hello to you, Scott, and that's awesome. He says, I just want it in a bundle, or I just want it to be bundled with PC, Xbox Game Pass. It's too reliant on add-ons for it to be on console. Yeah, I mean, look, I see what you're saying, Scott, and that makes perfect sense. But the fact that it could be both in Xbox Game Pass and on Xbox Game Pass PC would allow for it to live with all of these, reliant, expansions. You know what I'm saying? The same way Fallout 76 or ESO, which I think eventually is going to be like I think everything is going to be incorporated one way or another. But again, it's an interesting thought. I just think WoW can find a home on console. Infinite Umbra, let's get to you, brother. What are your thoughts on this? Is there a place in modern gaming for WoW to exist, especially when you hear from a player like Scott Gamer Dude who says, you know what, it's a great MMO I've been playing for years, but it's heavily reliant on expansions.
He's not wrong there when it comes to that, right? And when you say, can it exist on a modern gaming devices and such, it can. But for me, and the things that's held me back from trying out WoW, because I had a buddy who was playing it, I watched him play it, and I'm like, man, this game looks every bit like it came back out in 1999 or something. They have to modernize themselves, and I think that goes doubly so for the controls and things of that nature, because the reason why he was talking about the add-ons is because it's kind of complex on the PC, and that's why they use mouse and keyboard. However, Microsoft can easily enable mouse and keyboard support for this on Xbox, so there's no worry there. But I would prefer if they found a way to allow us to use control. I think that's just a smarter way to do it. Most people are going to want to play it that way.
I think there's actually
Got that update, didn't they? That
I'm pretty sure that there is
that
they I don't know whether it's modders or what, but I know that there is. I was talking to Kay Asante today, and I think he's the one that actually told me that there are control schemes, for an Xbox controller.
Yeah, you can customize the regular Xbox controller. I think it's official. It's through Xbox, and you can assign keyboard, keys
Prompts.
to it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see something because this is the second time I saw Bold Alpha Wolfpack. He said that I was tripping out on this stream. Is it the sound? Was the sound off for you guys?
You sound fine to me. I did not hear
Normal.
anything. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. I didn't hear anything different.
Oh, okay. Well, so like when the person was saying, I'm not sure who it was that gave the super chat, but they were saying, to out the add-ons and things like that.
That was Scott Gamer Dude.
Scott Gamer Dude. He, he's not wrong. So what they would have to do, in my opinion, is, is like modernize things and make a console version of WoW. It doesn't have to be exact WoW. It can be a version of it, right? And that's why I say they need to modernize it anyway. I think it's kind of off-putting for me when I see these crazy cutscenes and visuals they could put together for WoW, and then you see the game and it's like, okay, that looks dramatically different from that cutscene to the point of pulling me out of the game. So I think they need to modernize it, get a new engine or update the engine, whatever the case is. It needs to be pretty. They need to beautify that thing. I know that like some of the stuff, so they're gonna have to switch out the things like the UI. They're gonna have to switch out the controls to make it more easier, I guess, for the controllers, things of that nature. If they go that route, I mean, again, they could go the hard route and say, "Hey, you got to use a keyboard and mouse rather." So I think it all depends on which way they want to take it. But I think another thing to keep in mind too is that it's a lot of mobs that run up on you. I watched my buddy play it, and it was just a ton of things on screen at once, and that's part of why I was always kind of turned off on MMOs. Aside from having to play with a bunch of people I don't know all the time and stuff like that, and the quests moving along, and like hearing Danny's explain it, but part of that is seeing all this fluff and nonsense on the screen at one time. It's like, okay, how am I supposed to interpret this screen when all I see is all these people names, all the enemy names, health bar, and all this stuff? Like, it's very visually draining for me. So I think if they could modernize WoW a bit and make a console version of it, I absolutely think this game can do extremely well. I think it'll do it well, even if they ported it basically on its own, honestly. WoW still brings in crazy amounts of money now, and it has a crazy, dedicated fan base. So I think that it still would regardless. But I feel like if they
That's probably
want
the harder part.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, man.
No, you're good. I think though, just as far as bringing other people in, people like myself, I would be much more inclined to get into it if they cleared up a lot of the on-screen clutter, and if they modernized the engine and brought that forward, because the engine still looks, like I said, like back in 2000. We're in 2023, about to move to 2024 and beyond. That engine needs to be, they need to do something with those visuals. And we see these stunning, crazy cutscenes that look like something Blur would have put together, from them, and then with Diablo. And then you see the actual visuals in the game, and it's like, nah, son, that ain't gonna do it for me. That's too outdated.
I've seen the visuals, and I'm like, yep, that is 1996. I am not.
I think it's too hard. It's too hard and I would say risky for the game, because to try to force the style of game that World of Warcraft is to a console only version, like basically just separating, the people who are diehard, WoW fans, to like try to just create some new ones. I really don't think that that's going to be a great look. They probably are going to just have to make it where they bring over WoW, a version of it, but the same server situation, meaning like you're still plugging into that service, and if you bought it on PC, like the next expansion it's on your console. Like they have to kind of keep it together. I'm sure. I mean, you can do like mods on a PC version and make it look better, right? So I don't see how they couldn't just slap a coat of paint on it for us Xbox folks, but still keeping it the same game.
Yeah. And
Just
my
because I
thing
don't
is still like
risk it.
even beyond that though, like I feel like they can just make a console version of WoW. It doesn't even have to be connected to the other WoW. They can
I
make
would
it,
love a console version of
That, but see, I
WoW.
don't feel like that's a smart thing because then there's
Splitting the
not
fan base,
like there
maybe.
is no there's no fan base for WoW on
but
consoles right
you're
now.
trying to bring in new people anyway. The people that's already there are going to be playing it on PC anyway, right? So
Yeah, but the
what you're trying
benefit
to
of
do is grab new people.
well, no, I mean they're going to be playing their own game, right? But this other game is going to be like the Wild West, right? You're going to have a bunch of new people who don't know anything who are going into this game trying to figure it out.
Well, that's any game.
Where, well, I mean, but again, if you're using a brand of World of Warcraft and you got a bunch of people who
So maybe
love that game,
Umber, what if they like rebranded and just started WoW over again in modern? You know what I'm saying? Like take the old one, sunset it. I know that what we're suggesting is ridiculous, but I'm sure
Gonna
that
have
people
some WoW purists in the chat.
yeah, they're probably fainting right now. Oh my god!
this is what I'm telling you. It has to be
They in the chat like now, like what did he say?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's no console homie who's like sitting now saying, yes, I've been waiting my whole life to finally play WoW. There's very
I just
few,
like
right?
the idea that that it's been talked about. It's been talked about for years behind closed doors. We knew that it wasn't with the Overwatch or the overseers of Bobby Kotick running the show at Activision, that they could never get that across. Now obviously you saw the interview. We're not going to talk about it today because obviously there's just we had a lot to get into. We are at some point this week going to talk about the sit down, the one-on-one sit down with Mike Ybarra, because there was a lot of really good stuff there. Real quick before we continue forward, our good friend Ham Solo, he needs to jet, folks, because he has another show starting very soon at 2. So we want to give him proper time to go, get a drink and get himself together. Ham, brother, thank you so much for joining us, dropping your bars as you do. And once again, congratulations on hitting 1K on the channel. It's great that you did it here, brother. I'm glad that we could help. By all means, tell everyone where they can continue subscribing to your YouTube channel, but more importantly, reach out to you on social media.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today and, kind of propping me up and helping me get through the finish line right there. I appreciate that. I'll always remember where I was when I got my 1,000
well, you do the work. You
subscribed,
just needed a little bit of a push over the finish line, and we're here to help, brother. That's what it's all about.
Oh man, well, I tell you what, I feel really good about it, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, you guys can check me out on my channel, which is TSWS Gaming on YouTube here. I do shows throughout the week, kind of like Boom does, a little bit different times than Boom for sure. So yeah, my show on Monday is every other Monday with K Mega, and that's at yeah, so it's on my channel one week, and then on the K Mega channel the other week. We kind of support each other back and forth with that. That one's called the Crossover. Tuesday is the Lowdown, which we're about to do here in a little bit. Wednesday is kind of a free day. I kind of keep open so I can be on other people's shows and stuff like that. But Thursday, I do Behind Them Sticks. This week, I got Jez Corden coming through.
Nice.
So it should be a really good episode. Make sure you guys tune in for that. And then on Fridays, every week, we have Bullsitting with me, Loke, Cozy Beluga, Matt Likes Games, and usually guests on the panel. That show is hilarious. So if you guys want to,
Loke is a character by himself.
Yes, but and he's like the main host that like introduces the questions, and the way that he does it sometimes is just wild.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, make sure you guys come through and check that out. TSWS Gaming on YouTube. And if you want to check me out on Twitter, it's at HamSolo05Game. Thank you so much,
brother.
Boom, for having me here. It was a pleasure, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great to have you.
Easy,
congratulations again, man. You enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great stream, and we'll be talking soon for sure.
Later.
All right.
Listen, gentlemen, we have 19 minutes. So, and being that's only 3 of us, I'll answer at the end. Let me make sure I got all of the super chats, and let's see. Oh no, we got a couple more. Wow, we got a couple more. Dreadful Sean drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Bring back OG RTS. Warcraft. Warcraft was the first series I've ever played on PC over 20 years ago. WC3 cinematics are dope from 20 years ago. That's crazy. I can't believe that game is that old. Our good friend, the Black Viking, drops a very generous $10 super chat, says, I need Xbox to strengthen their partnership with Riot Games. Over 150 million LOL players, variant, LOR, and upcoming fighter. Will Xbox sell a massive amount of X and S if it's console exclusive? I mean, you're
That's
not
true.
wrong. I'd love
Facts.
to. I'd love to see them do exactly that. That would be kind of dope.
I
That would
think
be a
they're
big
aiming
deal.
to. I think they're aiming to anyway. After we
Yeah.
saw them introduce that, I think they want to strengthen that for sure.
I mean,
They
that's
should
a
just
lot of
buy
money to
Riot
be made.
Games.
Yeah.
Between
it's-
Riot
it's- yo,
Games and
look,
Blizzard,
wow.
they
If they
own
could buy
they'll
Riot
own
Games,
everything.
that would be.
It was
pretty
insane
crazy.
to see how many people played those games. I was like, wow.
I mean,
Yep.
look, there's 50 million pre-registered people for, like, if you told me who plays more COD, console or mobile, I'd think console 10 times over. Wrong. It is crazy how
close.
many kids play Call of Duty Mobile. It's just crazy. And lastly, Highlander 001 drops an additional very generous $5 super chat and says, with the last DLC for WoW, they added control support and a custom UI that works great
nice.
on the ROG Ally.
Oh.
I use an Xbox controller natively. Oh, dude, that's dope.
So the
Well,
problem's
there you
already
go.
solved.
Might have to try it on my ROG then. But yeah.
There you go.
I mean,
all right, so-
another way I would go about it too is
Mhm.
if and I've said this before on a previous show with you, like I would just, even if it's not a matter of them bringing on OG WoW, I would honestly prefer if they just made a brand new kind of WoW, like something that's a big RPG style, that's tailored for a console, something that's in a vein of let's say The Witcher 3. And what I mean by that
Just
is
be in the world of the world, like,
with
you know what I'm
the
saying?
lore,
In the-
absolutely,
in the lore,
but
of
also
it,
the
like,
third person view,
exactly.
things of that nature. That's like, if I was to have any say, that's the way I would go with it, because I think it's very lore rich from what I've seen and read. The Alliance and what is it? The Horde, I think it is. What is it? I think it's, help me out, chat. It's the Alliance, and I think it's the Horde. I think it is. And so yeah, have a spinoff in that world with that lore, and
There's a lot
expand
they
on
can
it.
do.
Yeah, action
That's why
RPG
it's so exciting
or
that Xbox
RPG.
owns them.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
now it's like it's not even a question about, oh man, how will this work? It's more like, what are they passionate about? And if somebody comes to film like, listen, we've been having this idea, we want this big third party adventure set in, the world of Warcraft, you know what I'm saying? Like, people, Phil will be like, yeah, absolutely, let's get it
yeah.
done.
Pitch
go
it
do
to
it.
them, right? Because it goes down to the pitches they give them, right?
Yep.
You just
They-
need some
they need the
visionary
passion.
there. Absolutely.
As long as somebody's passionate
vision.
about the idea, Phil's
Mhm.
gonna be on board, man.
I believe it. Yeah.
So
I do.
before we get to the last topic, and this is going to be a quick one, folks, I'm going to throw a hashtag in there, folks. Okay, hashtag RoboCop for the win. Go yeah, because EJ Jackson donated RoboCop for Xbox. So if you put that in there, you have a shot. I'm gonna do a picker and see if you got a shot at winning the game. Bro, let's go to you real quick. We know that thanks to several people that posted about it, Embracer Group's in the pickle. They're in trouble. We're starting to see people step out from the company that have been there for a long time, which says potentially that the ship is sinking. You're greedy, Umbra. What does Microsoft go to Embracer Group for?
Oh, you already know. Crystal Dynamics and Eidos. It's not even a question. I mean, for one, you got both working on Xbox IP from, I believe, Fable with Eidos helping on that. And obviously we got Crystal Dynamics working on with Initiative on Perfect Dark. To me, it's a foregone conclusion, not even a question. I floated that idea and thought long way. I mean, many of us did, so I'm not unique here, but we floated that idea of them getting Crystal Dynamics and bringing them on home for the Initiative.
They have to.
To me, it seems like common sense. It seems like
it does.
It's just something that should happen. I mean, you got Gallagher there. It's his old team. You bring them right back under him, and I think it'll work just fine. I think that's the smartest way to do it, honestly, is to try to go after them. And honestly, too, they won't have the overhead of worrying about the CMA and the FTC and all of that if they go for smaller studios like this, too. And I think this is going to be a reality sooner than we think, seeing how Embracer is bleeding left and right. And now their, CEO, was it? I believe they retired, right? Or was retired with quotation marks. It just seems like they haven't recovered ever since that situation happened. And to me, they're just continuously bleeding. So at a point, I feel like they're going to have to try to cut the bleeding and that loss. And the only way to really do that is to sell off assets. And Crystal Dynamics and Eidos would be two big ones that they can actually cash in on pretty well, in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, I think those will be the two biggest, I guess assets to use, and they only pay what, $300 million for all of that. Imagine.
Yes, 300 million, dude. They that 300 million got all of those studios, but it wasn't just that. It was the IPs.
Mm-hmm.
They got Deus Ex. They got Tomb Raider.
Exactly.
And
that's the biggest point about it. And I said this before. Remember, Microsoft had that advertisement for E3 way back, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. They had Lara Croft as one of the people on that advertisement. So it was very clear that Microsoft had an idea of having her as one of their mascots, if you will. So I think it's just common sense to me, at least, that they would go after that and bring that IP and those teams home to Xbox, and I would hope they do. I think many of us can all actually agree with that.
It actually makes too much sense, right? Like you
it's
said
a foregone
before,
conclusion
they're
at this
already
point.
working on first-party games.
Yeah.
Like they're heavily invested in Perfect Dark and Fable. Why not own them?
Don't forget the contracts that they make now. The fact that they have Crystal Dynamics and Eidos working on first party games, the contracts that they do now, anytime they have a third party who's working with them directly, is they get first right to refusal or first right to bid.
Yes, correct.
So
yes.
they're not if somebody showed up tomorrow and said, yo, I'm buying Crystal Dynamics, Microsoft actually has the first right to be like, all right, well, how much are you? Or I don't think they can say how much, but I think they get to put in a bid and they get to kind of make that decision first, whether or not they want to buy them before letting them go.
So
right. So
I want to answer something I saw in the chat. I see Jason B said, do they grab TH Nordic and Saber Interactive? I don't know about Nordic, man, but Saber Interactive wouldn't be such a bad grab. I know Embracer owns them both, but I think before they go for any of them, Eidos and Crystal Dynamics need to be top of the list.
Those have to be the first one.
Absolutely.
Tip of the spear, as you will.
It just doesn't make any other sense.
Real quick,
that's the thing. Once they say they're going to sell it, they're going to bid on it. So it'll be theirs. Nobody's going to outbid.
Well, check this out. C Money, Finesseful J drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "My Embracer not too greedy wish list." And I'm sure that Umber is going to appreciate this, is Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Dark Horse for Hellboy, Dark Horse, they own the comics, Dark Horse Comics, and the Middle Earth rights. I like
sounds like a W all around to me.
That's a giant W.
Own so much shit. It's so hard to remember what they own. I'm sure if we saw the list, we would be like, oh, well, we could go ahead and take that too.
Oh, let me dabble in that too. I'll take that off you. But by the way, somebody mentioned that Tomb Raider is with Amazon. I don't think that's for the gaming rights, guys. I think that's only for the movie or something. Embracer owns the IP
with them. But I don't think the IP was sold to them.
Yeah, Embracer owns the gaming IP. I'm looking at it right now. Actually, they own the Tomb Raider IP. It says the franchise is currently owned by CDE Entertainment. It was formerly owned by Eidos, then Square Enix. After Square acquisition in 2009, and now Embracer Group purchased intellectual property along with Eidos in 2022. So they own Tomb Raider. They're talking about the show or movie rights for Tomb Raider on Amazon. That's all they have.
Yeah, it's not. It'll be there. They'll get it. And that whole that whole narrative of the second Tomb Raider. What was it? Tomb Raider: Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Now you go back in history, and guess what? That was a first party game. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta,
Yeah.
we just gotta go ahead and finish it off by go ahead and buy them.
I would
Absolutely.
look. I've said this before. I think it would be pretty amazing on a multitude of levels to have Lara Croft as an Xbox first party game. I think that if the power of that franchise, that specific female lead is, there's no limit to it. She's powerful, she's strong. There's an incredible lore and history with her as a character. I think it would be absolutely brilliant. I think that if you could get that, that would be amazing. I think someone in the chat just put that Phil has a that they also own 4A games.
Oh yes,
To
I
get
want
them
them to get
fourth freaking
They are-
with.
Oh, that would be a good one too.
Now, real
Crazy.
quick,
Yeah,
see,
that'd
Money,
be a
I
good
do
one.
want to bring you in. I want to get your hot take on this. Finessful J says in an additional $20 super chat that he actually meant to do a 20. Dude, that is crazy. Thank you so much. And listen, we had 60 entries, and the winner of RoboCop, courtesy
Drum
of
roll,
EJ
please.
Jackson. I wish I have it. You know what's funny? I actually have one of those little decks. I don't even have it hooked up. I know what's wrong with me. Dreadpool in the chat has won
Nice.
RoboCop.
Oh, he snuck in at the last second, Dreadpool.
Look at
Snuck
that
in at the
sneaky
last
son of a
second.
business.
Shout out to Dreadpool. Check your DM, brother. The code is there for the US version of RoboCop, courtesy of EJ Jackson. Thanks again for this generosity, brother. Super appreciate it.
Spider-Man said rigged.
No, it's actually honestly, it's not. It's not. I do use an actual picker, and he was the first one to pop out, folks. I go with the picker. Listen, we do it. We try to do it as fair as we can. That's why we do a hashtag. Even Prince Green, what Prince?
Congrats.
How could you? He said,
I see
he says rigged. Oh my God, Smokey says Dreadpool doesn't even play games. Yes, that man does play games. Damn it, Smokey, I love you, brother.
Why is Dreadpool saying re-roll? Dread, you don't want it?
I mean, if he wants me to re-roll it,
Is he joking? He might be joking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No,
There's no reason. Listen,
okay.
you're in the chat. You put it. You have a chance to win. He's not on this panel.
Listen, you're lucky I didn't win, because I would be like, "Oh, I'm taking that shit. Thank you, sir."
You got that right.
I said, look, Dion Hayes says, "Boom! I can tell you from experience, RoboCop is a great game." I'm loving it. It's my biggest surprise.
Oh no, he was real. He was being serious. He said,
okay,
so re-roll it."
Okay, I will then. Okay, let me just find it now. Hold on just a second. Let me just.
And yes, Spider-Man, I
Chris
know you
Cross,
were joking
baby.
about it. I know.
Thank you, Dreadpool, for giving me
That's
another
nice of you,
shot.
Dread. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me put mine in there now. Add me to the list. Boom.
Giveaway tool. Okay.
Hashtag
give me a second,
I win. I don't know what to put in.
No, it's hashtag
RoboCop
RoboCop for the
FTW.
win. FTW. That's trying to make it as fun as possible. Okay, hold on. Let me find it.
I wouldn't try to enter just because I'm on the show right now. But
all right.
Listen,
I got you guys.
Giveaway page.
You two don't let
Okay,
me
so
monetize.
Cross your fingers, folks. Cross your fingers.
okay. RoboCop for the win. For the win. Okay.
You got a few more people adding in.
Yeah. I'm gonna re-roll it, folks.
Good luck, everybody. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna get okay. So here's the thing: being that I stepped out of it, everyone right now, put the hashtag capital R ROBOCOP capital for the win FTW RoboCop for the FTW. Put that in right now. Okay, so there's 39 entries. I'm gonna wait another 60 seconds and I'm gonna roll it. First winner wins. Thanks to Dreadpool for kicking it back. Okay, so we got 40 entries. I'm gonna wait another few.
I win, we'll share it, guys. Okay, I'll stream the
50
game.
entries now. Okay, so here we go.
Okay,
50 entries.
Whoever wins, game share it with me, and we'll be good.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so now we're up to 60 entries, folks. I'm gonna hit the draw button. Here we go. Here it is, folks. It's drawing.
You did it wrong, my man. You did it wrong, Charles. No hashtag. You forgot the hashtag, Charles.
Prince Green. Holy
Rigged.
Rigged.
shit!
Rigged.
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 Prince
He's trying
Green.
to, Boom's just trying to clear his name with Prince Green. Rigged.
Rigged.
Oh,
I
hey,
demand a
Prince Green,
recount.
congratulations, brother. You won the code. Listen, do it. If you're on Twitter, brother, DM me at Mr. BoomStick XL. If not, hit me up on Xbox Live. Again, Mr. BoomStick
Look at it.
XL
He
on
wrote
that.
good, look, scroll up. Prince Green wrote good luck in all capital letters. He knew what was happening. He knew what was
He
happening.
played it all along. He knew it was
Oh my God! Shout out to Prince Green. Shout out to the judge for everybody, and of course, a big thank you to EJ Jackson. That's actually the second time he's donated a game. He actually on Friday's Mrs. Boom's birthday bash, he donated Alan Wake 2 code, which is crazy
nice.
generous. So shout out. I know we know you were kidding, Spider-Man. We know. Don't. We're just having fun. But listen, let's get your hot take on this. We'll get everyone out of here. For you, do you like the fact that nobody wants to see Embracer go out, right? But they're in trouble. They overspent. Apparently, that deal that was supposed to bring in those millions of dollars that didn't happen was with a Saudi company, and it just fell through. And they depended on that money. Here we are in a position where Microsoft has cleared ABK. We know they have a significant amount of money left to spend. Two companies, two developers that are key to first-party games are there. But I love the 4A games. Grab them. Yes. I like grab the Tomb Raider IP. Let's get Lara Croft under Xbox Game Studios. And then what you do is you say, Crystal Dynamics, you're working on a game right now for Amazon. Not a problem. We're going to continue that. That's gonna go right. Because Amazon is publishing the next Tomb Raider game. I don't know if Microsoft buys out the contract or whatever, or more. Microsoft, they're just like, yeah, whatever. We'll let them.
If they did it, they would have to make it exclusive because you're not going to get another Tomb Raider for a while.
Yeah.
So they would have to just step in and be like, you know what, we'll pay what we got to pay. This shit is ours. It's gonna make them way more money as an exclusive than as a multi-plat.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to 80s cartoon villain says villain loses again. So see money. What do you think that Microsoft needs to step in forthwith?
Yeah, I mean it's like a garage sale. You know what I'm saying? Like you just walk in and you kind of see what you want. I definitely think Crystal Dynamics and Eidos is just like the guaranteed. You got to get the Tomb Raider license. You got to save the Tomb Raider license because they can't, it's having these third parties like an Amazon make the game for you. You kind of lose your soul a little bit when you're making that game. That's now you're like catering to what Amazon's going to want. You don't want that. Just bring it in house. Go ahead and take advantage of it. But 4A Games is good. Like again, I don't really know who they own, and I guess my problem with this is like, essentially, they essentially would have to be like leaving the gaming market for this all to even make sense. Because if you strip them of like their most valuable assets, like what are they going to be doing afterwards? They ain't going to survive on SpongeBob games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. They would have to be either looking to get pieces of them bought so that they could become more affordable for lesser companies to scoop up the rest of them, or something like that. Because I don't see what version of this will equal Embracer surviving after all the pieces have been picked from it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
true.
what else they got left? If you take all their good stuff, I do the fact that I think the biggest thing for Microsoft is less about the studios after you get the main ones that we want, is more about like IP. Like you pick up somebody like Dark Horse, like somebody said in that super chat, and you all of a sudden have a bunch of IP that your studios can look to kind of say, oh, I want to make this, right? Because like that's the biggest thing, right? Like when Phil says, hey, we want you to make whatever your heart desires, right? And they start making the game, and then you look at it like, well, listen, you could just make this game and call it some random thing that we're gonna have to build a brand around and hopefully it picks up, or your game looks very similar to something that works in this known branded world. Would you rather shift it and make that type of game with that brand recognition that you can use, and just kind of do something in that lane? So I think Microsoft just having as much IP as possible available to their teams, especially considering that these teams can all be broken up into smaller teams. Like, it's not like you need, you know, every team to be working, like every person on a team to be working on a game. You take somebody like Obsidian, who, went ahead and broke up into, 4 teams, right? They got the the Avowed team, they got the Outer Worlds team, they got the small team that did Grounded, you got the small team that was working on um the Josh Shore game. I forgot what the hell,
Pentiment? Yes.
Pentiment. Like, you have the ability to have these teams kind of break up and say, it would be cool. I would love to make this type of game. Get the IPs, man. Somebody, I don't. The other one too that I think would be a good get, that I know maybe not be the most popular idea, but if they could get the game rights to Lord of the Rings, because I don't know if you guys were big fans of it, but back in the day, there was a lot of good Lord of the Ring games that came out. And for them to have like a really dope established IP, that they can go ahead and make the next, Skyrim type game, you know what I'm saying? Like, let Bethesda do their thing, but you can go ahead and take this IP and really break it up. They had great action games. You could do so many different types. I definitely think Lord of the Rings might be a good get as far as the gaming rights. I don't. If you buy WB though, then you also get the movie rights for Lord of the Rings, and now life
Greedy
makes
Umber
even
is
more
salivating
sense.
as we speak.
I know.
He's like,
I know.
Yes, indeed.
I will take them all.
Yes,
Look, at the
indeed.
end of the
Yeah.
day,
We do want
just
it all though.
yeah,
We
and
want it
hey,
all.
absolutely nothing wrong with that. Look, this has been a great show. 2 hours in and out. We're gonna get everyone out of here right now. A big thank you to all of the super chats and that have come in today. Super appreciate that. Again, obviously I say it all the time, but I'll say it again. It does help the show grow, allows us to, buy the equipment that we need, and of course do the big giveaways. And there is one more giveaway, folks, that we have, and we'll advertise more in depth once we get into December. But Mrs. BoomStick and I, in a 2-hour show, are doing something that we've never done before. We're giving away $1,500 worth of prizes, 10 $100 gift cards, as well as 2 $250 gift cards. And all you got to do is be in the chat. Now, obviously, if you are a channel member, the first 6 of those prizes, because there's a total of 12 prizes, will go to channel members first. And then the second half is anybody that is in the chat. And again, that's just the way to do it fair, because obviously we have a significant amount of channel members, and that's thanks to the generosity of people wanting to help us, power the show forward, as well as all of the donations of channel memberships that have come the last couple of shows has been just insane. So a big thank you to that. Let's get everyone out of here. Infinite Umbra, sell the brand of the fix. You and Danny each and every Thursday get a chance to talk about not only gaming, you talk about pop culture, but there's been a lot of game talk because, well, there's a lot going on. Sell the brand. Where can people subscribe to the fix? And more importantly, reach out to you on social media.
Yes, on social media, Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it. You can find me on there, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You will find me either way. The fix is on Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern. So you guys come back there and support. I'm going to post a link in a second. If you have not subscribed, please do so and come through and support a brother. Just for you, Bold Alpha Wolf Pack, since you were talking about my terrible wild takes, I am going to purposely spread more of it on the fix and speak more negativity into your life to hurt you. It's my goal now. Yes, it's my goal in life. No.
Oh my god.
Thank you guys, panel and Boom, of course, and chat. You all have been really good today. It was actually really funny reading a lot of you guys takes and such. And shout out to the winner. Yeah, he said no. Yeah, you brought this on yourself.
Yeah, he actually just post a message. Prince Green, do me a favor, hit me up on Xbox Live. It's Mr. BoomStick XL. It's Mr. Space BoomStick Space XL in capitals for XL. Hit me up, and I'll send it to you via Xbox Live. Which again, thank you to EJ Jackson for the generous donation. And C Money, let's sell the brand of your incredible podcast, because not only do you and the missus and the son get together, a very unusual family affair, which we absolutely love. I think I'd love to see more of it, but you have embraced you bringing the family. And not only that, you get together with the missus each and every week on Monday mornings to start the week on your early morning podcast, where you kind of just talk about, well, everything. Sell the brand to this incredible podcast. And where can people reach out to you and strike up a conversation on social media?
Absolutely, man. Well, first of all, Boom, thanks again. Really appreciate being on the show. Love hanging out here, hanging out with my homies, hanging out with the chat. It's always a fun time. So thank you all. Yeah, right on the screen, you can see C Money Forever is my name on Twitter. I would love for you guys to come follow. I'm like 15 away from like 500 subscribers, so that would be really cool. If you guys can come follow me there, that would be dope. But yeah, we have our show. The channel's called On Point for Gamers, and it's a show I do with my wife and my son, and my eldest daughter. But we have 4 shows that we do a week. We have some recent things happening for us that we had to we're going to be changing the schedule a little bit. But this week it should be pretty unchanged. Monday mornings we have our show Morning Quest. That was a phenomenal show. That was yesterday morning. It was very, very good. You should go check it out. That's at 9 a.m. Eastern times. Today is a big day for us. Tuesdays are our guest show day. So today we have our show, Her, Him, and the Guest. We have to do it early because of our guest. It's across the pond. But we are at Her, Him, and the Guest will be with Gaz today from Game On Daily. That's going to be super dope. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So in about hour and 50 minutes, we will be back with the man Gas himself. So definitely come by, show him some love. It's going to be fire. So we do appreciate anybody who does stop by for that. This Thursday, we added a new show to our monthly kind of rotation here. We are doing our community blowout gaming podcast. So essentially, it's going to be our normal Thursday show, except that we're going to be having members of our community who are normally in the chat with us hanging out. They're going to go ahead, be on the show with us live. It's just going to be the normal show, but with them, and we're going to take the chats, talk that's happening in the chat and just put it on air for everybody else to be a part of. So it's going to be super fun. Definitely come check it out. It'll be at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this week. So this Thursday, 5 p.m. It's gonna be fire. So go ahead and come join us for that. And then this Friday, we have On Point Anime and Beyond. It's normally at 6 o'clock. It might be at 7 o'clock this week. Definitely follow us. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe, and we'll update you. But think I'm gonna be on somebody's show on Friday at 4:30, if I'm not mistaken. So if that's happening, then we're gonna do it at 7. But it's a fun time on Anime and Beyond. We talk anime, TV, movies, anything pop culture. It's definitely a good time. But we do appreciate you all. Last night we did Dirt Griggity show. That was really, really fun. So we're around. So subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter so you can keep up to where we are. Shout out to Doodle. That's my wife. She's killing it out here in these streets. A lot
Our
of
tweet
people are
earlier
getting to-
had me laughing my freaking head off. It's something about it was a garbage pit.
Yep.
Scrounging the
She said, "Don't mind
IGN
me, just check it out." IGN's reviews. It was hilarious.
I love it. That was good
But
stuff.
it's so cool because we have a a pretty modest channel. It's growing. We're doing a lot of good stuff. But you guys, I mean, Doodle's amazing. So you guys got to
She
see
is.
her
She absolutely
in
is.
action more.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
You know, it was a fun time. Doodle was wilding yesterday. It was so good. So shout out to my Doodle.
Maybe one of these upcoming weeks we'll have a guest here.
Yeah,
with
man.
you.
Let me
That'd
know.
be kind of dope.
We'll definitely make it happen. But guys, thank you all so much. We do appreciate you. And like I said, follow me on Twitter. Get me over that 500 mark, man. Come on, we did it for Ham Solo.
Ham.
Just want to get to 500, bro.
Yeah,
Twitter.
absolutely.
Either you do it or I'm giving you all a bunch of terrible wild takes.
Uh-oh.
You
Look
go.
out.
It's your
Look
choice.
out.
Oh,
but-
I want to give one shout out to Riskit, him and his wife, the missus they gave.
Yes,
birth.
they just had a brand new addition to
Oh,
the family.
yes.
Congratulations.
Beautiful baby.
Yes, that was
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday.
Yep. So shout out to
Um,
Riskit and the newborn, the little one.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Scott Gabriel says, "Stop that." okay, I won't mess with WoW.
Anyway,
just subscribe to
listen.
Twitter, bro. That's all. That's all.
Listen, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. Super appreciate all the generosity that has come in. Thank you again to EJ Jackson for the RoboCop code, which has been delivered to Prince Green. Shout out to Prince Green for the win. Shout out to Dreadpool for being as generous as he was as to give the code back and have us re-roll. So that shout out to you, Dread, as well. And of course, folks, I'm going to close out today's show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day, folks, it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig, I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.